Welcome back to Humble Pie. I'm your host, Jimmy D, and we're back again for another great video. This one, a Kaiju number 8 mirror match. Sure you guys saw the thumbnail. It's gonna be really fun. I have one of these matches where I'm gonna be using for additional content outside that basically didn't go anywhere. It was one of those dead cards, so you know how it is. When you get those cards, you can't play anything. Especially when you're practicing, scrub it, move on to the next game. You hate to see it, sometimes it happens. And I'm going to be showcasing how a lot of these things are going to be fixed in the future of Union Arena once we get to those new Evangelion decks and when we talk about Red Kenshin. Honestly, really good deck Red Kenshin. Obviously, it's been putting up good amount of numbers, and I think honestly it's because it's consistency of being able to add a 2 cost that can be a 0 if there's nothing on the field, and that Scry 1 ability is insane. Getting an ability to make sure that if you have a dead card in your hand, you have a way to fix it. That's why I always recommend those 0 costs that draw 1 discard, because you want to make sure that if that's your only answer, thank goodness you can dig through your deck to make sure you can hit that curve. Because you only get 1 mulligan, it's the next 7 cards, and that's it for the game. And a best of 1 format, that could make or break your entire tournament run. Luckily for me, when we get out to Nationals, it's going to be best 2 out of 3. So we'll see if I can stomach it there with a good deck that I feel is most consistent and capable of taking down my opponent in the best 2 out of 3 range. But today, we're going to show off Divine Lotus and his version of the yellow deck, the opposite version, the Rush version of Kikoru, and versus what you just might have saw in the last video, or if not, you get to see it for the first time here, the yellow Mina deck. I'll showcase what it does to go over those deck lists, and we'll get into a really nice, relaxing video with music to sit back and watch the gameplay and start getting yourself a little more tuned on what is happening in the game and maybe even get your skills honed, because I tell you, I love watching these videos. Love watching back and looking at seeing what they did, coming up with my own lines and figuring out how to not make those mistakes in the future. And I hope that benefits you in the same way. Right now, let's get to the deck list. Alright, starting off my Hidden Tiger Fire Dragon. This one is a fun deck with Mina. I built this immediately as soon as Kaiju number 8 came out. I was super excited. It had really cool new abilities with new events that seemed like a little strong, willing to play, and a site that really it definitely felt like warranted in playing. The room for it, though, is just incredibly tight. One of the things I try to explain to people, you really don't want to go much below the 40 character limit for these things, because you want to be making sure you're putting pressure and you're assigning some tempo to the board state. This game is all about making sure that you're maintaining the best board state as possible and keeping tempo in your favor, especially when it can fall behind when you hit things in life with triggers and whatnot. But this is one of the really cool decks that came out here. Has a lot of great consistency enablers with the draw discard and raid targetable character on top of that, which is huge. This is usually not the case. But Hoshina, basically a nice little draw discard that it works as 1 with a trigger, amazing. 2, cycle, make sure I get the consistency I need. And 3 is a raid target, so it's something I actually want to have in my deck. Whereas this choice, Kikoru was really just in there because I had a trigger, and that's really all I picked it for. I really wanted to make sure that it had a trigger. My energy wasn't necessarily any higher than 5, so I don't need the one that sacrifices itself at the end of turn. And if you don't have a raid target for cards like that, they're really not that good. If you do have a raid target for it, or it is a raid target, excuse me, they're more likely you'll see those play. But more often than not, the ones that have no trigger and sacrifice themselves just to produce additional energy for 1 turn, not optimal in this game right now. Unless, of course, you have a raid target that can get rid of that, it's going to destroy itself at the end of turn effect, or as soon as you start the battle phase. Of course, we have some more synergy here with a nice look at the top 4 card search to get your cards for Baku or another Mina. So more consistency with that. Another 1 cost that allows you to draw and discard and a trigger. Super strong. Making sure that my early hands guaranteeing seeing the cards I need to see with a lot of the cycles and making sure I can fit that curve. Good strong first hand and last hand to ensure that I don't have any dead draws. Of course, the double pip here, getting in, it is a Mina, of course, and a raidable target. And very good, because it can also really combo really well with Bako, your white tiger. That's why I call it Hidden Tiger. You've got this 3K color trigger. Of course, you're going to always have 4 color triggers in here. And you can choose this character and move other cards. Really strong ability, honestly. Put it in the back row, push something forward outside that makes sure that you can have the 3 energy you need that you might have needed at the start of your turn, and then you wanted to push maybe one of those 0 costs for an extra swing, but couldn't because you want to have the energy. Well, here you go. Here's your answer. Not to mention it counters decks that like to move characters back and forth, like the Red Kenshin and the Toto deck. We have the 2 action point Mina that does come into play active, which is super strong in a lot of these cards, because unless it's a raid target, most of the time it's coming into play rested. So having this being able to come in active, really strong, it has an ability to attack from the back line, has an ability to reduce the BP of an opponent's character. If you're worried about a 5k block, no more, you don't have to worry about that. And when attacking, if Baku's in the front on the same line, get a draw card. So extra synergy and extra turboing, no sidelining, just draw. And it allows you to dig further and further and make sure that you're keeping the threats going. Not to mention getting additional attack in the back row. Super, super strong. You've got a Baku here that allows you to, if in the front line, Mina cards and the field gain, your opponent cannot choose this character or the abilities of characters and event cards unless they place one card in their sideline. In addition to this, the Baku does not stack. So basically a nice little protection of the Mina in the front line. Of course, it was going to take the bullet, get a nice little story accurate. But this one enabling you to force your opponent to have to discard to target it. So if they're trying to use their specials or whatnot, you're taking at least some resources away from them trying to target the Mina and trying to get the tempo back in their favor. Nice little draw engine here when played. You get a nice little 4K body with the raid, so you can get the draw discard, put out a 4K body, and of course this character cannot be blocked with characters 3000 less BP. So if your opponent has a rushed little maybe red Kenshin deck, this is a guaranteed hit in a swing. And in addition to a nice little draw card. Not to mention, comes really well with that previous effect we saw, that minus 1000. You can make their only target that could have blocked or that was 4000 or 3000, and you're guaranteed getting a hit from the Soshiro. Super strong. And the raid, which is arguably the best card in the deck. And honestly, the only thing that I see downside about this deck is it just doesn't have a whole lot of power. It has removal. It has extra things in the deck. It's falling up here, but the top end is a little lackluster, but it is still consistent. I digress. If Baku is in the same line as his character, you get impact. Extremely important in the late game. You really want to make sure that you have that ability, especially when you get on the last life. When played, choose up to one character in your opponent's front line and switch to resting, and then activate main. If it's in the front line, it can keep that character resting. So extremely good if you use this against a raid target or a raided card, if you will. Making sure you keep that one rested. Your opponent will likely never replace that card to fill up that row to 4 cards, and will ensure that you basically only have to worry about 3 swings coming at your next turn, depending on how the deck works. But you can block 3 cards because they don't want to waste that rated card. They might want to get it back. They might want to have some access to it. But if you can keep the thing locked down, not only do you have an open swing here, where you could potentially, when comboed properly, get yourself a nice little swing in the back row to get an additional hit for 5 swings. You've rested 1. That's guaranteed 2 of those are going to get through. Guaranteed 2. If not, and of course the impact, getting a nice little final blow there. And swinging to the background, I forgot to tell you, can't be hit with that special trigger, so nice little protection on top of that. I love this site here. This one allows you to get more consistent by digging through your deck, but it also allows you to play a 3 cost or less for free from your hand. It really strong. Just replace itself instantaneously, putting something else out there when the utility's done, and you get to search through your deck. A nice little extra temp removal card. Choose one Mina on your field. This character gains plus 2000, and this character can attack from the energy line, so you have another energy line enabler for some additional swings. You get it on the on play for the double pip, but maybe later you want to get that additional swing to go that 5th hit, which is why I think Red Kenshin's doing so well. Of course, we're playing 4 specials, because you gotta play 4 specials, and 2 final triggers, only because the deck is low to the ground, consistent, only really requires about 4, maybe 5 on occasion. You're not going to need a lot of extended turns. The deck is pretty low to the ground. You just want to make sure that you potentially have an answer, or if necessary, need a turn where you can extend it just 1 more card play to get that extra hit. And this one's going up against Kikoru Rush, the other yellow version of it. This one's a big fan favorite from our Divine Lotus, one of our casters from the channel. He's going for this low to the ground rush type build with the Kikoru type combos here. These ones playing a lot of like 3 costs or less from the front line, powering up those characters to make them 4K in your turn, really swinging in big and getting to play characters out for free with a very, very low curve, which is another thing that can make this deck very, very strong. Right. You've got only 4 requirements. All you need is 4 cards in the back row with a single pip. Everything's legal. Everything's viable. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can put 1 double pip. You got an empty spot up in there, so even the red Kenshin decks pushing things back are absolutely not a threat anymore. You get 4K. This character gains all abilities listed below. If you have the required number of energy, 3 required energy in the same line, you get impact 1. 2 or more when attacking, draw up to 1 card. 3 or more, This character gains plus 1000 BP, so that's level 5. Okay, and when attacking, choose one character on the field. It gains 500 BP until end of turn. So it's pumping the other characters at a 3 cost. Those 3 costs being this 35 that you want to be a 4K, right? When played, if it's your turn, this character is played with one of your characters or site or event card and abilities. Choose up to one of your opponent's AP card, or choose one of your AP cards and switch it active. So nice little, honestly, good ramp here. You get a final just out of this playability already by getting additional play if you cheat this thing out. Kafka, when played, if it's your turn, you may pay 1 AP if you do draw a card. Always good. When you play a yellow character card with 3 or less required energy and 1 AP cost from your hand, set to resting. So you get to pay an AP, draw a card, play a character for free. It's just a draw card. And you get the perfect energy in the back row. And there's a lot of 3 costs in this deck that you want to be seeing. Even a 3 cost raid, that's going to be pretty easy to combo with. So during your turn, if another character with 3 required energy is in the same line as this character, gains 500, so you got 4K body again, and enabled through other things. When played, play up to 1 yellow character card with 3 or less required energy, 1 AP cost, from your hand to resting onto the field. Another one that cheats some characters out into play. A lot of good combos with really just farming out these low-cost characters in the early game and making sure you have a bunch of 35 swings. The downside on your turn is 35, so you're not going to be able to block much of anything. But in reality, it's all about aggro. You're just trying to get these 4K bodies, because remember, when you attack, if it's lower, it doesn't matter. If you defend and it's lower, you lose the character. This card, during your turn, it gains plus 500, so another enabler to get that 4,000. And when attacking, choose up to one of the character with 3 required energy line, gains 500. So another enabler to pump those numbers up. Let's get those numbers up. We have a Haru, which is another 3 cost. When played, choose up to 1 character on your field. It gains 500 BP until end of turn. This character is played with one of the characters of sight. Switch it to active, so you get an active 3 cost. Super strong in the early game. Super strong, being able to drop something that could potentially be a free swing. 1 AP free play here. I love how fast this thing fills up the front row. Yes, they're kind of weenie characters, but 35 can't be hit with the red color trigger, so you've got enough of these enablers that are just pushing these cards up and up to ensure they get a massive amount of swings. The rush in this deck, absolutely insane. The consistency, pretty good. I mean, we have some great special here. This one, your basic 2,000 less BP in your opponent's front line unless you have Kikoru, and then it's 4,000 or less. In addition to this character with 3 cost less energy, 5,000 less. So 3 different requirements to get to the 5K, but it's there. And you have this screening exam, which is one of the cards that allows you to look at the top 4 cards, play 1 yellow character with 4 less required energy, 1 AP cost. Excuse me. Among them, set the. No, you add it. Let's right. Not play. No, you get to play. Play the card. Among them, set into rest on the field. Perform a raid with it, or place the remaining cards in the bottom of the deck in any order. So just a free dig deep, play something from your deck, and of course, when they get played for free, you have those really cool abilities. Again, the final trigger is down to 2. This deck plays itself. It doesn't need to extend its turn too often. So if you're a deck that's really fast, you really don't need too many of these. You might want one in the life just in case, but in reality, this is just a draw an additional card to the turn. Right? And most of the time, you're using your additional draw and getting all 3 of your AP with this. That is all you're doing with this card. If that's the best thing you're doing with the final trigger, it's not worth your time. So 2 is the rest. Alright, we're going to see which one of these decks is going to do well head to head. You guys tell me in the chat. Of course, like, comment, subscribe if you guys are liking this content. And make sure that you hit that follow button. I really appreciate you guys being here. And if you want to see this deck list, come join me at experts.dev. If you want to try some of these other things I have going on Patreon, check that down below. Right down, we're going to get to some awesome music, sitting back, watching some gameplay. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback and see what you guys think you would have done better in this matchup. And I love watching these games because I get better every time I get to see the gameplay. Until next time, stay humbro.
I want to taste the waves of the 7 seas. I was made for the live-long life of traveling. Oh, see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, yeah. I need to see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, I wanna see it all, yeah. I give just to leave this town tonight. I'd give anything just to leave this town, leave it all behind. Want to taste the waste of the seven seas. I was made for the livelong life of traveling. Oh, yeah, I was made for the livelong life of traveling. See it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, yeah. I need to see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, I wanna see it all, yeah. I'd give anything just to leave this town tonight. I'd give anything just to leave this town, leave it all behind.
do it for this round. If you've been here this long, hit the like and subscribe button. Help us out. We're a growing channel and just trying to get out as many TCGs and coverage for you guys at home. Brought to you mostly by the people you're seeing scroll over here, my Patreons. The ones that help me fund and do everything I can to try to expand this channel to cover multitudes of different TCGs that you are seeing here. You like the one you're watching now? That's great. We also have other things that you might like, from a broad spectrum of the Bondi to the new League of Legends, Riftbound games, and other independents like Alpha Clash. We like to cover as many games here, and I love all these TCGs. Most of the time I take part in. If you guys are liking this content, though, please help us grow, help us get into the point where we can improve our quality of content for you, and get to the point where you guys really get the product that you deserve. Thank you for being here, as always. This is going to be it for today. I hope to see you in the next video. That might be listed up here. I don't know, editor, can you help me out?